Welcome to the introduction to the I Ching. The I Ching is a profound ancient oracle, but its depth can often feel like a barrier. Too often, academic jargon and spiritual fluff act like gatekeepers to its wisdom. This series is different. We're stripping away the unnecessary complexity to give you a clear, direct path to the core truths and life lessons the Book of Changes has to offer. No gatekeeping, just the fundamentals that you need to begin your journey with this ancient oracle from the East. One of the oldest and deepest complex systems of philosophy and divination in existence, the I Ching, or the Book of Changes, provides us with a functioning framework that has influenced society more than most people realize, as well as providing some of the most interesting coincidences in recent history. In the late 1940s, the famous psychologist Carl Jung introduced the concept of synchronicity after being amazed by the I Ching. Synchronicity is the idea of a meaningful coincidence. It's when your inner thoughts, like thinking of an old friend, perfectly aligns with an outer event, like that friend calling you a moment later after being silent for nearly decades. There is no logical cause and effect here. Instead, the events are linked together by meaning. Jung realized that consulting the I Ching is a perfect example of this. When you ask a question, the hexagram that you receive acts as a mirror, reflecting your inner state and the situation at hand. He believed that the 64 hexagrams were archetypes, universal symbols that represent every possible human experience. Interestingly, Jung's modern discovery was actually described thousands of years ago in the Great Treatise of the I Ching, which explains how the oracle responds to the seeker's sincerity to reveal the hidden patterns of life. The Great Treatise mentions the oracle possesses neither consciousness nor action, but when it is acted upon, it penetrates every situation under heaven. This is essentially the ancient definition of synchronicity. Modern computing and the I Ching are more connected than you may think. In the 18th century, Gottfried Leibniz, the father of binary code, was stunned to find that this ancient system used a perfect base 2 logic. By treating a broken yin line as 0 and a solid yang line as a 1, he realized the I Ching was essentially a binary map of life. Leibniz believed that the I Ching was a universal language, a kind of source code of reality. Just as zeros and ones create the complex digital world that we live in today, the I Ching uses these two simple values to map every possible human interaction. Think of it as a metaphysical DNA. Just as our genetic code uses 4 base pairs to build a human body, the I Ching uses its binary lines to create a code for any given moment. The oracle acts as a troubleshooting manual, helping you decode the situation that you're in. To understand how to read this code, we have to start with the fundamental forces that make that all possible. Leibniz saw the math. Jung saw the psychology. But the I Ching can see both. By doubling these simple lines, we create a lens capable of viewing the entire universe. The Big Bang of Chinese philosophy begins with the Great Ultimate. It represents a single central source of everything, the moment the universe chooses to be something instead of nothing. We see this process in the famous yin-yang symbol. The two swirls show the Great Ultimate in a constant dynamic motion. From this one source, the entire universe expands in a process called binary doubling. Just like a single cell divides again and again, the universe fractally expands into the system of the 64 hexagrams, the many moving parts of reality. From the one, the great source of all things divides into two. The two are the complementary opposites of yin and yang. Yang is the principle of initiation. It's the spark, the starting force, and the drive to expand. If yang were left alone, it would expand endlessly into nothingness. It is the pure idea. Yin is the principle of completion. If yang is the idea, yin is the form that makes it real. Think of yin as a sacred vessel or a canvas. It provides the boundaries and gravity that allow yang's energy to become something tangible. Without yang, nothing starts. Without yin, nothing finishes. From these two forces of yin and yang, they double again into the 4 faces, the engine of change. When yin and yang double up, they create 4 possible combinations. In the I Ching, these are known as the 4 faces. These 4 outcomes in a divination tell us whether a line in a hexagram is stable or dynamic. These outcomes are old yin, a changing yin line, young yang, an unchanging yang line, young yin, an unchanging yin line, and old yang, a changing yang line. The two static states of Yang Yang and Yang Yin are lines that are stable. They represent energy that is consistent and firm. When you cast these lines stay exactly as they are. The two dynamic states flip. Old Yang and Old Yin represent energy that has reached its absolute peak. And in the I Ching, when anything reaches its extreme, it has to turn into its opposite to maintain balance. Old Yang will flip to Yin, and Old Yin will flip to Yang. These four states are the DNA of every single divination in the I Ching. Consulting the I Ching for a divination begins with forming the proper question. To get a clear answer, you have to ask a clear question. The I Ching doesn't predict a fixed state or future. It maps a current trajectory of energy. To get the most out of your reading, don't just ask what will happen. Ask how to navigate what is happening. There are 4 ways to frame your question. The path frame. Instead of asking, should I move? Ask, what fortune could I expect if I pursue this path now? The connection frame. Instead of, are they the one for me? Ask instead, what do I need to understand about my relationship with this person? What is the energy between us? The obstacle frame. Instead of asking, why am I stuck? Ask instead, what is the hidden factor I need to see right now? Or what will help me in this circumstance? What will help me in this moment? The attitude frame. Instead of asking, how can I get more? Ask, what mindset should I adopt in order to invite abundance? Your state of mind and the energy that you bring the oracle is just as important as the question itself. Here are a couple of rules to consider. 1. Simplify. Strip down your question down to its core and write it down. 2. Neutralize. Let go of your preferred outcome for your question. If you're desperate for a specific answer, you'll likely misinterpret the truth. 3. Just breathe. Still your thoughts. Clear your mental static so that you can hear the oracle's voice or the voice of your intuition. And finally, the invocation. Address the Tao, the universe, or your preferred higher power. Formally ask for insight into your written question. The rule of the first answer is that a core truth of the I Ching is that the first answer is the one that you can trust. Asking the same question repeatedly out of dissatisfaction is considered disrespectful to the process. Now we'll go over how to build our own primary hexagram using the 3-coin method of divination in the I Ching. It's the most popular way to consult the oracle because it's fast, accessible, and it's direct. You'll need 3 identical coins, and we assign them these values. Heads is equal to 3, which is Yang, and tails is equal to 2, which is Yin. You flip all 3 coins at once, and you'll do this 6 times in a row, building your primary hexagram from the bottom line up to the top line. Think of it like building a house. Your first toss is always the foundation, or the bottom line, and your 6th toss is the roof, the top line. Each toss will result in 1 of 4 outcomes for each line of your hexagram. 3 tails is Old Yin, a changing Yin line. 2 tails and 1 heads is Yang Yang, an unchanging Yang line. 2 heads and 1 tails equals Yang Yin, an unchanging Yin line. 3 heads is Old Yang, a changing Yang line. The difference between a static and dynamic reading is this. If your primary hexagram has changing lines, these lines in your primary hexagram will change to their opposites and form a relating hexagram or future hexagram in your inquiry. The relating hexagram shows where the situation is headed. These changing states are what make the I Ching a book of changes. A reading is considered static if you only toss Yang Yang and Yang Yin for each line in your hexagram. It means that your situation or inquiry is stable. You will only have 1 primary hexagram to study for your reading. This concludes the brief introduction to the moving parts of the I Ching. In the next lesson, we'll continue to look at the concept of binary doubling by studying the 8 trigrams, the building blocks of the hexagrams. If you found this lesson helpful in understanding these basic concepts, I hope that you liked the video. Subscribe to stay informed until the next lesson releases. See you soon.